Hi guys, it's Suzanne Hardy, and I wanted to just send you my assignment for my assessment of learning for Learning and As Learning, Module 2. So this is kind of a really fun thing for me. I'm really excited about this. I've created some neat things for my students. It's for my fundamental students and Makeup Fundamentals. And the first thing I want to go through quickly is my assessment of learning is curriculum-based. Put out by the person who actually wrote the material for the course, and you do have two midterm exams written, one written, one practical exam, and that's usually right smack right in the middle of the course. And then there's a final written and final practical that happens at the end of the course. So that's the learning of that's the assessment of learning, and that just shows me who has got the skills, who does not, who needs to practice, who needs to study more, and where they are at, basically. Okay, so that's assessment of learning. Assessment for learning tells me how well they're doing in general throughout the course, and during this I've put together about 5 little concept reviews or little quizzes, and whenever you say quiz, students automatically get their attention. You get their attention quite easily, but it's really just a little quiz that I go through. I have them work through on their own time to review the previous material from a previous day, and they look through, write down the answers, and then I review it with them. And it's not for any marks, but it basically just goes through different concepts that I feel that they need to understand before they can go through and do the midterm practicals and the midterm written. So, and I've kind of come up with 5 of these concept quizzes, and I've based on what students have come back and said to me that they don't understand. So they're based on questions that I've gotten from previous students, and I tend to get the same questions all the time. Okay, so that's an example. This is concept quiz 2. And it gives them a chance to kind of think about general concepts that we talk about in the course. Okay, the next thing for assessment as learning for the students to evaluate how they're doing with their assessment. I put together some little tips on my blog page, my PIDP blog. And there's 2 things. There's tips to plan your makeup, timing, so the students can actually see how long they're taking. They can time themselves and see how long their makeup is going. They should, for beauty makeup, take no more than about 1 hour, and if they're taking more than an hour, they can look and see where they're having trouble with. Quite commonly, it's color matching. It should only be 15 minutes. Students, when they start out, quite often it's more like 20-30 minutes. So once they tighten up there, that changes a lot. And then the eye makeup portion, I find, tends to take much longer than 20 minutes for most students. The rest is pretty easy, but I find those are the trouble spots. The next thing I have is a little tip page for students to see how their self-assessments after they do a makeup, not just timing, but they can look and they can see a couple of little, well, more like 15 little tips, and you know, how did you do with your makeup? Did your foundation match your face and your neck? Did you cover all the blemishes and pigmentation? Did you get on the under eye circles? You know, is there shiny skin? You know, is everything blended nicely? You know, how were the lashes applied? So they can go through this series of steps and look at one by one to see just how well they did. And if they haven't done well in a certain area, they can certainly see. And I will actually get each student to go through this little checklist before they come see me during practice. So by the time they get into their final practicals, they will be able to tell me what they think they did well at and what opportunities they have. Okay, so that's my learning of for and as, and I will put this in my learning forum page and you guys can access it. Thanks very much. Bye.